Today we're going to take a look at a simple backfill process. It's the simplest of the production order modules provided by the Wisys solution. And let's just go ahead and jump right in. What we're going to do is we're going to use the agility module to take a look at a bill of material and adjust the bill of material so that we can see that what we can do is edit the bill of material on the fly within Wisys without ever having to go into Macola to do that. So I'm going to pull up a item here called Simple Pop Item, and it allows me then to take a look at that particular bill of material. If I double click on it, it shows me what the current bill of material is. So I have bolt, chain, XL, or a chain XL and a lever. Notice that these are all set to back flush, and by definition then within Wisys these are not bin or lot controlled. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a new item to our bill of material on the fly here, and we're going to call this clamp. We're going to tell it that we need 2 per parent and that there's no scrap. We're going to pull it from location MA, and the manufacturing unit of measure is eaches. I am also going to back flush this particular component, and once I do that, it adds it to my bill of materials, and as you can see here in just a moment when it comes up, it is now part of my bill of materials. I can take a look at what date it was effective and a number of other pieces of information, as well as being able to export this to Excel. I'm going to go ahead and close this. What we're going to take a look at today is a simple pop production. We're going to be able to generate a production order. We're going to issue components to that production order, and we're going to complete that production order without ever actually having it look like a production order. And we're going to do that by means of the gun and a menu selection on the Wisys menu called Production Backfill. We're going to start by taking a look at the inventory location master list, and we're going to find how many of simple pop items I have in stock. So I have 182 of these on hand currently. I'm going to make a note of that so that when we're done we can see what the difference is going to be. And beforehand I also took a look at stock status for a few items. So if I take a look at a stock status for bolt and MA, you can see that in MA I have 9,959, and for my chain XL I have on hand 849, and for my lever I also have 497. Now going back to my simple pop item, one of the things I can do is directly from this screen is to take a look at whether I can build this particular item or not, whether I have sufficient components. So if I'm only going to build 10, the system will show me that yes, I have sufficient quantities on hand to complete that. But if I wanted to build 1,000 of these, well, I am short on 3 of my components, my chain, my lever, and my clamp. I do have plenty of bolts, and as a result here I can see that I have no way of building this particular item, and if I wanted to I could take a look at what my replenishments look like, either from or I could create an unreleased purchase order, which would then allow me to order more parts in order for me to be able to build what I want to build. But I'm going to go ahead and continue here, and I'm going to switch over to the gun at this point. Here we have the gun emulator, and I'm going to log into my demo company here with my user ID and password. And one of the things you'll notice is that there are a lot of menu selections here available to us, and those are then based on what security levels I have available to me, or what menu selections I have available to me when I set up this user for this gun. You'll note that we have multi-level item view, and just like we had on the agility screen, I can simply go through here and pull up my simple pop item, and notice that when I look at the MA location, I also have the same quantity that we looked at before. We have 172 on hand. So let's go ahead and build some simple pop items. We're going to do that by doing what's called a production backfill. And it's a way to generate and produce material using a production order without ever having it look like a production order. And the process is quite straightforward. I'm going to go in here to pop backfill. And the first thing it's going to ask me, what is it that you're going to be building? I'm going to be building a simple pop item. And it says, fine. Where are you going to build them? And I'm going to build them in MA. And how many of them am I going to build? I'm going to go build 35 of them. And as soon as I hit enter here, it's going to process. Now what exactly is it doing? What it's doing is it's A, generating a pop order, B, releasing the production order, C, it is issuing components to that production order, and D, it is completing that production order all in one step without ever having to look like it was a production order. Now I have it set up to print my labels. I'm going to go ahead and hit cancel here because I don't want to print a label during my demo process. And now I have completed my simple pop item. How can I be sure that I actually did complete that simple pop item? If I now go back to my multi-level item view and take a look at my multi-level item view and pull up my simple pop item, I now have on hand, whereas before we had 170 some, we now have 207. Now, just to show you that we did indeed generate a production order and all the associated accounting entries that go along with it, let's go back and look at agility one more time, and let's look at manufacturing, and let's look at pop production view. And I'm going to take a look at just the MA location. I'm going to click OK, and what we're going to see is here is the production order that we just generated. And if I want to, I can double click on it and it'll pull up a screen associated with that particular production order, and we can see that we made it produced and created pop order number 68. Here are the items that were issued as a result, the 4 items, and along with the accounting entry for each of those 4 items. So we can see how the general ledger impact was. How many were reported complete? So if I look at production, we can see that it produced 35 of them, along with the associated accounting entry. And finally, I can take a look at the entire distribution, and this is the entire general ledger distribution then that is going to hit the GL as a result of issuing the components and finishing production on this particular pop order. Simple as that. Using the gun and using production backfill, I can easily generate production without through using production order processing, using all the functionality of production order processing without having to actually look like I'm using production order processing. Very simple to use and a very quick turn. Thank you.